Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we are going to do a prep day, and then we're also going to probably add in the cook as well. So, like I said before, we're trying to figure out where to get our product from. During today's prep, we're going to be working on ribs, pork belly, and also chicken. So, I'll show you guys what I got going on, and hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so just some small things that you missed was, I did sauce the ribs, I pulled them, the pork belly, I didn't really do anything different with it. All I did was kind of pull them all at the right time. So honestly, there wasn't too much footage that was missing, but it did feel very empty when I was editing the video, so which is why I wanted to do this little talk afterwards. But more importantly than that, the thing that I didn't intend on talking about, but just because of, like I expressed that I wasn't really happy with the ribs, but not because of the quality of the meat, just kind of like, the ribs themselves were a little bit scraped down. So one conversation that I want to talk about is specs. And what I mean by specs is like specifications of, the meat that you're getting. Every single cut that you're getting most likely has specific specs on, how, old the animal was when it was slaughtered, what weight they wanted to get the animal to be. Depending on where you're getting that product from, it's also going to be cut to their own specific specs, whether it's they're prioritizing what cuts are more valuable than others, and so they're going to make those pieces a little bit larger when they're going to, butcher them. So this conversation is important. It came up, or why I'm talking about it is because, with the two cuts, or two of the three that we're using, the spare ribs and the pork belly, those two things are really close to each other on an animal. So if you guys don't know, the spare rib, if it's right here and it's like the membranes at the bottom and the meat side is up, the pork belly basically sits right on top of it. And then you have the fat cap and then, the skin on top. While I was trimming the pork belly, because it was a little bit thicker, I kind of knew that the ribs were going to be scraped down a little bit. By that, we call those shiners. When you see those you see the bones sticking out. So, even when there's that one footage where I'm kind of panning the camera to get all the different meats. If you look where the ribs are, you can see some of them. They have like distinct white lines running through where the bones are, and that's because all the meat was scraped off of them. One of those things is just kind of like, why you kind of go through different places and test out different products to not only test the quality of the meat, because I didn't have any doubts that the quality of meat was going to be good. It was just more of, how do they cut certain things, especially with ribs. Ribs are really important to get the specs right, because you want to have enough thickness on top of those bones of how much meat there is. You also want to see how many ribs they're gonna, how many bones are there going to be on there. If they taper off on one side and the other, do they leave the breastbone in or do they leave it out? Because there's a lot of these things, they just kind of add up. When you're buying things by weight, most places have that breastbone still in place when you order the entire spare. These didn't, but they also didn't have that much meat on top of it as well. It's just one of those conversations that you don't really hear too much about, especially for brisket is a big one also, just because when you go from different purveyors, sometimes that goal weight is much larger than the others, only because they want to get certain other prime cuts to be really, really large into in terms of like steaks and stuff like that, which in turn will make those briskets a little bit larger as well. And I personally, and I've said it in my other brisket videos, that I don't necessarily like really large. I don't really like really large briskets, but sometimes you kind of have to cook what you have. That's why you kind of go through different purveyors to see how they treat certain cuts of meat. How big are they gonna get? Do they care enough to not scalp the brisket? And then for the ribs this time is how much meat are they gonna leave on top? How much are they valuing the pork belly that lays on top? And just looking from what we got, the pork belly is really good, but which also made the ribs not so great. It really is an important part of how you want to get good product. If you're just cooking in your backyard, I think getting stuff from Sam's Club and like Costco and stuff like that's great. They actually have pretty good product there. Are they injecting the animal with any salt solutions at the end, which in turn will matter how your food tastes and the texture of the meat and stuff like that also. So when you guys are going out and looking for things, just kind of look at the ingredients. Even though it's raw, unseasoned meat, there probably in some cases will be some sort of like salt solution that's injected into the pork. So again, guys, I just want to say thank you for all of you guys who continue to watch these videos. You know, I'm gonna try my best to continue to make good or get good footage on a day where there's no clouds, which that's how it was that day. You can even tell, like, on when I was seasoning up that pork belly, man, that the footage was starting to wash out, and I kind of knew that I was gonna be missing a bunch of footage in the afternoon. But all you guys who are continuing to watch these videos and support me this way, you know, I don't make I don't make that much money off of YouTube. It's not that's not where I'm making my income from. But as you guys continue to watch, share with your friends, it does allow me to purchase small things just to make these, you know, videos a little bit better, or at least a capture footage I can use at the end of the day. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.